in this way Vishwarup took sannyas. Jai Shunaye Vishwarup prabhu sannyas Krishna bhakti hoy tar chitte karma pash. Anyone who hears description of the sannyas of Vishwarup, then they will get Krishna bhakti, and all of their sinful activity, all of their sinful reactions are destroyed. So, from the day of Vishwarup's departure, then Nimai changed his behavior dramatically, and he became very well behaved. And in order to mitigate the grief of Sachimata, he would always console her and be with her, and study very diligently. Study, and all of the people in the neighborhood, they were saying, "You're so blessed to have such a nice son." And he was behaving in such a way as to console them and to support them after the sannyas of Vishwarup. And then I became like the ideal child at home. Such a good boy. Everyone was saying, "Oh, such a good boy." And he was very expert in his studies, the top student. He would excel even Brihaspati in his erudition. Then one day, after seeing that Vishwambara, Nimai, was such a brilliant student, Jagannath Mishra made this comment that this son of ours will never remain in household life. And he explained that just like Vishwarup was regularly hearing Bhagavad Gita and studying, and as a result of his knowledge, it's fine. As a result of his knowledge, he realized that there was no value in material life. And Jagannath Mishra explains that Eho jodi sarva shastre hoibe jnanavan chadiya samsha shuk karibe payan. If you study the Shastra and become jnanavan, become learned in the philosophy of spiritual life, then you will lose interest in family happiness. So Jagannath Mishra said, therefore, from this day on, Nimai should not study. He can remain an illiterate child and remain in the house. Mishra Boli. And then Sachimata said, no, but she said that how can he maintain his life if he's not educated and has no career, training? Mishra Boli. Tumita abhoda viprasuta harta karta bharta Krishna shabhar rakshita. You foolish son of a Brahman, you foolish daughter of a Brahman. You don't know anything that harta karta bharta Krishna. Krishna is the maintainer. Krishna is the controller. Krishna is the protector of all living entities. And then Jagannath Mishra began to philosophize and then saying, what is the use of all this education? He said, look at me. I am so educated. I have so many qualifications and learned pandit. But look at our house. We are on the brink of dire poverty. And look over there, he's saying, these men in the village, they can't even sign their name. They can't even pronounce the words of the letters of the alphabet. And all the Bhattacharyas and the Mishras and Pandits are all at their door begging some donation. He's saying that it's already previously determined one's happiness and distress in this life, and no matter how much you study, it's not going to change. Even, he goes on to explain, even the spouse, husband and finding a spouse, all of this is already preordained. So what's the point in studying? He can just stay at home and do what he wants. I will provide everything for him. He said some interesting things. Krishna kripa bini nahe dukarer mochan takle ba vidya kula ki koti dan. He's saying, what's the use of takle vidya, your learning, or all your wealth. Krishna kripa bine, without the mercy of Krishna, dukher mochan, you cannot remove the misery of your life. Not by your learning, not by your wealth. So just let him stay at home, and with Krishna consciousness in the house, he doesn't need to go and get education. So he made the decision. And he said to Nimai, Jagannath Mishra said, called his son and announced, Nimai, I promise you that from today you are relieved of studies. You do as you like. Whatever you desire, my son, I am ready to provide. Just stay in the house and be fully satisfied. So not being allowed to study, then Nimai became very restless and disappointed, and he, at that time with his friends, he became very mischievous. I was discussing yesterday, was I talking about this? No, I wasn't. No. So he was very mischievous. His friends, they had like a reconnaissance team. Reconnaissance. They would go out in the day and make their plans, strategic planning during the day. What mischievous we will get up to at night. And then they would get a blanket, 4 or 5 boys, they had a blanket and cover themselves in the blanket, look like a bull, and go into the garden and tear up the banana trees and steal all the bananas. And then the householder would see his kola bagan is being destroyed. He would call help, but then they would run away and hide the blanket and be standing there, where's the bull? And he would tie the houses of the village people at night time, the latrine is not in the house. This is a modern invention. Latrine in the house. The Vedic system, latrine is outside, outhouse. So at night time, if you need to relieve you have to go outside. So Nimai and his friends would tie the doors there's the door. It's a clay hut, has a wooden door, and then outside they would tie it with rope. And then in the middle of the night, they would hear the man inside banging the door. Open the door! And, and this way, he was very mischievous. Then one day, Nimai, I didn't tell this story. One day Nimai, here at his home, all the ladies of the village came running to Sachimatra saying, look at Nimai, look where he is, look what he's doing. And so Sachimata looks and she saw Nimai. He's sitting on top of the discarded pots. Here you will see in the market, you will see that the clay pots you can buy here, Baman Bugur, there's several little shops. They make the clay pot. It's baked in the sun with the mati, clay pot. And in the traditional style, they're cooking with fire and cow dung, pati. And they would cook with the clay pot, and one time use. So there was a pile of discarded clay pots that had been used in cooking. They cook in the pot, just like in Jagannath Puri. Still they do now. You get Jagannath Prasad in the pot. It's cooked in that pot, put on the fire. So they cook in the pot, and then the discard. So all the pots are there broken in the back. It's all biodegradable. Not like plastic bags. Now we're very intelligent. We have plastic bag. The plastic bag is destroying the ecology. Even in Vrindavan, big problem with plastic bags. The cows, they eat the refuse, they eat the plastic bags. Get stuck in their stomach. They die. And now we heard recently they're banning plastic bags in Nadia district from next year. In Mayapur campus within is banned, no plastic bags. So actually Vedic culture, everything biodegradable. It's a clay pot, they just throw in the back, and after a few months everything is broken down again. There's this soil, clay, mati. So Nimai, he's sitting there on that pile of broken pots. And it's described that Ek boro niguta kota shune ek mon. If you hear the description of this with attention, shune ek mon, Krishna Bhakti Siddha Hoy Iha Shravan. You get perfection in Krishna Bhakti just by hearing this narration. Like to listen? Like to hear this? So he was like, it appeared, people that gathered around, and it appeared like a golden doll. He's Gauranga, he's golden, young boy, shining, beautiful effulgence, beautiful shining face, lotus eyes, big broad chest. He's sitting there. like smeared with the soot from the pots, broken pots, on his body as he climbed up. So it smelled like dark chandan, anointing all the different limbs of his body. This golden effulgent doll on a mountain, it appeared. And Sachimata, she scolded, "What are you doing? Come down, you foolish boy! All of the wives of the Brahman patnis, and they're singing. What will they say? What have you learned from your father that you're sitting in such an unclean place? Come down quickly, come down." And Nimai replied, "Prabhu bole, Tor mor na di padite, bhadra murka vipra jane be kimate." You're not giving me opportunity to study. Bhadra, murka vipra. How is it that a foolish Brahmin can discriminate bhadra and abhadra, between auspicious and inauspicious? Janebe kimate. How can he discriminate between an auspicious place and an inauspicious place if he remains uneducated? He's sitting there, saying this. And he sat there, and it appeared like the Lord Dattatreya was sitting there. And he's smiling. Jata mor shtiti she sarva punyashthan Ganga adi sarva tirtha tahin adishtan. And he began to speak like the Supreme Lord, like Lord Dattatreya, and he's explaining that wherever I sit becomes pure. Say sarva punyashthan, that is the most pure place. Ganga adi sarva tirtha tahin adishtan. The Ganga and all the places of pilgrimage, they reside there wherever I am. And then he began to speak Mayavad philosophy. Clean and unclean is all imaginary, he said that. Let us assume something. If there is, it's all Advaita, it's all one in this creation. And then he said, if I, the Supreme Absolute, touch anything, it becomes pure. What contamination can remain there? In this way, he's giving a little speech on top of the pots. I cannot reside in any degraded place, nor in a materialistic plane. Everything that comes in contact with me becomes purified. Sitting there smiling. No one could really understand the import of what Nimai was saying. And Sachimata simply carried on saying, "Come down, you naughty boy, come down immediately." Nimai sitting there smiling. And then some of the other ladies in the because he's explaining, you're not letting me study, right? Therefore, how can I discriminate between clean and unclean? So some of the other ladies in the village, they said to Sachimata, which enemy has advised you to take your son out of the school? We are struggling so much to get our child to go to the school and study, and here your lovely, your beautiful young son. He has a big attraction to study, and he's very diligent and very good, and you're not letting him study? And the ladies, the surrounding ladies, they said to Nimai, Nimai, you stay there. You carry on with your mischief and your ill conduct. As long as they don't let you study, we give you full permission. You carry on making mischief. Carry on with your work of destruction and mayhem. The ladies said. Nimai smiled sweetly. So then Sachimata herself had to climb up on the pots and take Nimai and bring him down and take him for a bath. So then in the evening, Sachimata, she said to Jagadad Mishra returned. And Sachimata explained the whole event, and she said, I think this is not a good thing. And she explained, and then Jagadad Mishra began to reflect, and he said, okay, so choose an auspicious day and we will initiate your son with the sacred... Sachimata said to Jagannath Mishra agreed, and Sachimata said, choose an auspicious day, initiate your son with the sacred Brahman's thread, and begin his studies again properly. The Upanaya of Sachimata. And Jagannath Mishra said, whatever you desire, you are all my well-wishers, therefore I will concede and we will arrange. Would you like to hear about Jagannath Mishra initiating Nimai in the sacred thread and beginning his studies? Would you like to hear that?
We will.
So he decided, they selected an auspicious day, and Jagannath Mishra initiated Nimai in the Upanayan Diksha, where he receives the first Brahma Gayatri mantra and is awarded the second thread, which indicates the beginning of Vedic studies. So all the ladies ululated and musicians played, the mridangas, the shanai and the flute, and Brahmins chanting various Vedic hymns, and orators offered verses in glorification. And Sachi Devi's house was flooded with joy. All the planets were favourably positioned, and Sri Jagannath Mishra awarded Lord Gauranga with the sacred thread. And the sacred thread adorning the beautiful chest of Nimai was an enchanting sight. In fact, Ananta Shesh, Lord Balaram, Ananta Shesh, he expands as a different paraphernalia. And he became the Brahman thread that is worn by Sri Mahaprabhu. Hoile Baman Rupe Prabhu Gaurachand Deki De Shok Boro Parama Anand. He looked like Baman Dev, a child Brahman. And he began with a stick in his hand, going from door to door, begging the householders of Mayapur for alms. Hate Danda, Kande Juli, Sri Gaura Shunda, Bhiksha Kore Prabhu Sharva, Shevakera Gaur. He went to the houses of his own devotees with a danda in hand and a kamandalu, begging alms from the householders, as is the tradition for a Brahmin boy when he's beginning his studies. Sometimes in Mayapur, the boys from Gurukul come with a danda, a special treat, and they come and seek donations at the time of the Upanayan initiation. Now all of the demigods and their wives were residing in Mayapur village just to get an opportunity to see this Gauragopal, his Bal Roop of Nimai, as a Brahmin boy, like Vaman Roop, coming to their doors and knocking and begging. The demigods and demigodesses, Devi and Devatas, who had appeared in Mayapur just to see this, witness the Supreme Lord knocking on their door and begging for alms in the form of a Brahmin boy. Jai Shune Prabhu Jagya Shutre Grahan. Those who hear the description of the Lord receiving the Brahman thread, Shei Pai Chaitanya Chandra Charane Sharan, they will get shelter at the lotus feet of Gaurasundar. So then Mahaprabhu, Jagannath Mishra, he took Nimai to Gangadas Pandit, who was the teacher in Mayapur, a most respectable teacher. And he took him to the house of Gangadas Pandit. Mishra bole, Putra Ami, Dilon Tomashtane, Padaibe, Shunaibe, Shokal Apane, I'm giving you my son. You take him and you teach him all of everything you know, according to your ability. Gangadas bole, Boro Bhagya Shey Amar, Padayamo Jota Shakti Achaye Amar. I will teach. I'm so fortunate to have a son, to have a student like Nimai. I will teach him everything I know. Shishya Deki Param Ananda Gangadas Putra Prai Korea Rakil Nije Pash. Seeing Nimai, he was filled with bliss, and he kept him by his side always like his own son. Jota Bhakya Gangadas Pandite Koren Sakrit Shunile Matro Thakur Dharen. One time hearing whatever Gangadas spoke and taught, Nimai remembered. Just hearing one time. And naturally, within a very short time, he became the most exalted of all the students. And he would, amongst the other students were Murari Gupta, Sri Murari Gupta. We will go to his house tomorrow. Sri Murari Gupta, Kamalakanta, Sri Krishnananda. They were the little elder and the peers of Nimai, and he would debate with them and defeat them always. Tomorrow we'll hear about Mahaprabhu defeating Murari Gupta in discussion. And then he would go to the Ganga, and he was very naughty and mischievous in his playing at the Ganga with the other students. And they would have like political teams. Who is your guru? Who is your teacher? And Nimai would challenge and defeat them all. And he would disturb all of the Brahmins taking their bath. He would steal one Brahmin's Bhagavad Gita. He'd come out, where's my Bhagavad Gita? And he would, the Brahmin would be standing in the Ganga chanting Gayatri, Dhyan, and Nimai would appear suddenly from under the water and spit in his face. And other Brahmin, he would clasp his feet under the water and pull him under the water. And he would put the little fruit, the veiled fruit, in the hair of the girls they were going to bathe. And he would take the clothes where the men were bathing, he would take all the clothes and exchange that with the ladies' clothes. The ladies would come out from bath, all the men's clothes are there. Men would come out, all the saris are there. And this way he and his boys had so much mischievous every day. It's a school. He'd go to school in the morning, and in the afternoon, lunchtime, he would take Ganga Snan and perform so much mischievous behavior. Jagannath Mishra Paya Bahu Namaskar Ananta Brahmananda Nath Putra Rupe Jar. How much obeisances we pay to Jagannath Mishra that the Ananta Brahmanda Nath, the Lord of unlimited universes, Putra Rupe accepted the form of his son. Now, the Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata were very, very enchanted by the behavior of Nimai. He was always studying, and he was so studious and such an enchanting child. They became somewhat complacent. And one day Jagannath Mishra had a dream. So after the dream, he bowed down on the ground and he was praying to the Lord. There's only one thing I'm begging of you, Lord Krishna. He said, I beg of you, let Nimai be a householder and live at home. All of a sudden he's on the ground praying, Lord, I beg of you, let Nimai be a householder and stay at home. And Sachimata asked, why have you all of a sudden prayed for this benediction from the Lord? And Mishra, he explained, today I had a dream. Would you like to hear what Jagannath Mishra dreamed? Yes. In the dream I saw that our Nimai had shaved off his sikha, and he was dressed in indescribably beautiful sannyasi clothes, robes, and he was simultaneously laughing and dancing and weeping and chanting Krishna's names, and he was surrounded by Advaita Prabhu and Srivas Prabhu and other associates, and they encircled Nimai and they joined him in chanting. And I saw Nimai sit on Ananta Shesh, Lord Vishnu's throne, Lord Vishnu's couch, and place his foot. This is his dream. What a dream! Huh? So Nimai sitting on the bed of Ananta Shesh and placing his foot on the head of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. And Ananta Shesh and Lord Brahma, with their hands raised, were chanting Jai Shachinandan, Jai Shachinandan. What a dream, huh? Everyone was jubilant and joyful, worshipping our Nimai. Everybody except me. I was standing there and morose. In a flash I saw Nimai followed by millions of people roaming from town to town, dancing. Countless millions followed him, chanting Lord Hari's name in unison. The sound touched the very coverings of the material universe. While I listened to the glorification of Nimai flowing in every direction, I saw the devotees follow him to Nilachal in Puri. And then my dream broke. And this dream has caused me so much anxiety. I'm afraid that our Nimai will become disgusted with household affairs. And then a few days after this, after revealing this dream and praying to the Lord on his knees, just pray Nimai remain a household. All I ask of you. A few days after this, Jagannath Mishra left the world. And then Sachimata was simply there with Nimai. And Sachi survived only because of Nimai. And in order to console and support Sachimata, Nimai said, Shuni Mata, Mone Kichu, Na Chinta Tumi, Shokol Tomar Ache, Jodi Ache Ami. Oh mother, listen mother. Mone Kichu, Na Chinta Tumi, you don't worry about anything, Nimai is saying to Sachimata. Shokol Tomar Ache, everything will be available to you. Jodi Achi Ami, as long as I am with you. And Mahaprabhu said that I will provide everything for you. I will manage everything. Don't worry. And in a short time he said, I will bring you a gift which is unattainable even by demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. It's Krishna Prema. So in this way, we'll hear more about this dream of Jagannath Mishra, and we'll hear a little more about Srimad Mahaprabhu's sannyas, perhaps tomorrow or the next day. We'll see how we go. Would you like to hear a little more about Nimai's sannyas? We'll hear about that tomorrow or the next day. We'll sing it a little bit, and then we'll hear a little bit about Mahaprabhu revealing himself as the Supreme Lord to Advaita Acharya in this place. What time are we going back today? One. Fasting. Fasting. Not fasting. Not fasting. You're fasting. We're fasting. Sing that song we sang yesterday, Manusha Janama Bhawan. If you sing it for a few days, you'll remember it. Learn some songs while you're here in life. Manusha Janama Bhaya, Hari Hari Vipale. Hari Hari Vipale Janama Bhaya. Shakya